Welcome to a Community Partners interview, where we explore the organizations, opportunities, and resources that look to make change in our daily lives. I'm your host, Lily Saragini, and you're listening to Voices for Ability Radio, all abilities, all the time. Today, I'm joined by Jeff Daly, the CEO of Simaril Supported Living. Simaril's mission is to empower individuals with disabilities by providing personalized, compassionate support that fosters independence and community integration. They envision a world where every individual, regardless of ability, can live with dignity, purpose, and independence within their communities. Thank you for joining us today, Jeff.
Oh, glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Jeff, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what inspired you to work at Simaril?
I've been in this industry since I was an adult I think I started my first volunteer job working with people with disabilities when I was 18 years old. I worked with a group of gentlemen with disabilities as part of a company here in Winnipeg that was called Society of Manitobans with Disabilities. That was my first introduction to working with people with disabilities, and introduced myself to these gentlemen. I had no idea who they were, and I was terrified, actually. And I learned so much from them, and they had so much grace and so much experience and so many stories to share that I was completely enthralled in the industry. So I went to school, and I got my social work degree, and I have another degree as well, and focused on working, with people in the community, and sort of developed my career through that entire process with a focus on working with people that, that definitely could use, some assistance in terms of where they want to go and who they want to be, with the purpose of inclusion and really seeing people for who they are. So I got here about 14 years ago, just to speed up the process, to Simaril. Started here. We had a really kind of a small, quaint organization of approximately, we're supporting about, I would say, maybe 16 people in 2011, and with 35 staff. And fast forward to today, we support, approximately, I would say, 250 people in the community, if not more, with a staff count of about 420. Just making huge impacts in the community in terms of developing partnerships with other organizations, and really making sure that we stick close to our mission and values, and supporting people with disabilities in whatever that looks like in their world, with housing, independent living, respite, home share. So we really try to create an environment where people feel that they have every opportunity to live the fullest extent of their life with whatever assistance they may need.
That is some very impressive information, and especially the growth of the organization. I mean, that's not that long of a time for it to double and triple like that.
Yeah, I think the general feeling of our organization when you talk to people is the fact that we really care. We want good things for people. We have standards that we like to follow. And really, we follow from the purpose is that we mirror our own lives. We want people to have a life that we would want. Like, we're walking alongside with people. So we're doing it with purpose and with intentions, meaning that we want to create the best environment for people. And I think people see that. Families, people aging out of care, coming from hospital, coming out of, prisons, etc. So I think that we're not perfect, don't get me wrong, but I do believe if you talk to the people here, they would tell you that they feel that they make a difference by care.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
While doing my research, I saw that you have several services that you offer. Could you tell me a little more about what those services entail?
Sure. We have an independent living program, which services everybody from age 18 up. We don't have a cap on age. And so our independent living program has case managers and caseworkers and outreach support mentors. We have about 50 outreach support mentors that work in the community with people. They have scheduled times to work with our people living independently. Some live in apartments, some live together, some live with their family still, and we support them in whatever endeavors they're doing, whether it's employment, whether it's they're volunteering or budgeting or grocery shopping, um, etc. So that program we support about 175 people in that program, and it goes 7 days a week. We have a respite program attached to that, which we support families, where we go in and give families an opportunity to be able to take a break. And it also gives people an opportunity, I believe, that for people that are wanting to live independently to see what it's like to have some assistance in the community when they might live away from home. Residentially, we have 22 locations in Winnipeg, with the purpose of hopefully spreading throughout Manitoba. And these are mostly homes that we either own, rent, or we built. And we have people cross section, whether they be in wheelchairs or they're ambulatory, of all ages, all disabilities, that are supported by staff 24 hours a day, for whatever it is that their particular situation is. We support. Some go to work, some go to day programs, others do individual day programs. So it's a full on service. We have a home share program that we have people who have come forward in the community to offer their homes for people to live in their homes. And so they professionally support people to live in their homes, and be it if they, just like you would live in any other location, support them whether they're working or going to a program or just at home if they're aging in place. We want to start a day program. We're not quite there yet. And we're currently in conversations with the province to look at that as an option as well. So what we have residential, we have independent living, home share, and our respite program.
That's very expansive.
I think we're pretty proud of it, actually. I think the people working here are pretty proud of what they've accomplished. And I believe that it shows in our new logo that we have this year. We've kind of moved forward with a new logo, and people are excited about that. We've got some we added 3 vans this year. One is a wheelchair van. 2 other are minivans to transport people around. We've updated our website. We'll have a lot of exciting things going on, and which I think inspires people to work harder, because they see that as an organization we're trying to continue to push the envelope for people.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I also saw on your website that you have a news section. Can you tell me about what goes into your news section?
Our news section? Our news section is about celebrating people that we have working for us, that are working each day to be able to really show that people can make a difference, but also to make sure that their efforts do not go unnoticed. And within that, we have a little food services area where we have some recipes for people to look at. We have our maintenance fellow has maintenance tips in there. And also we want to talk about our special events that might be happening, our supper club, any special circumstances that people are doing something. It's really trying to create some dialogue amongst people here to be able to read about what each other are doing. And it's a monthly newsletter that goes out, and we have a spotlight for employees and for home share, and whoever it is that on that given day is brought to the attention of the person that's putting together the newsletter. And we're working on things right now. We showed our new home that we built in here in Winnipeg, and which is a fully accessible home that was toured by many other organizations. Even some of our hospitals walk through to see what we created and the environment that we wanted to show that people could live in a community with a fully accessible home, and it just resembles anybody else's home. We spotlight some, things in our community that people are doing here that are making a difference. We have one recently that was about one. Our HR director was working with refugees, and she was also interviewed in another program regarding her efforts there as well. Yeah, we really try to have as a much of an impact in the community as possible.
Now, I know you said that age is not a restrictive factor, but are there any restrictions to becoming a member of Simaril supported living, such as disability type, caregivers, or family members only, that kind of thing?
No, there we don't. We invite everybody, and to at the very least meet with us to see whether or not we're a good fit for them. It's really, I think, part of it is, of course, there are people that get referred to us on a regular basis, and we have people waiting. I met a gentleman yesterday, and he came in here and had cerebral palsy, and he was super excited to meet with us. He lives currently with his parents, and he really wants to live on his own. And we went through that, and he had lots of questions, just as you said, like, am I able to, is my disability too much for you? And we're like, absolutely not. And he goes, can you do, things that I need in terms of my personal care? Absolutely. And we don't hesitate in those questions because I think we want to alleviate any barriers that people might have or feel. I don't believe in the recent history that I can remember turning anybody away. I think sometimes when people are aging and medically we can't provide certain things, like if we had to have someone who had a trait, for example, the risks are pretty high for us to make a mistake. So we really recognize when we really can no longer provide that care. But generally speaking, there's really no definition per se, as long as they fall within the parameters of our community living disability services.
Excellent. I like this question.
Okay.
Without using any names, can you share a success story with me? Like what supports were put into place when someone asked for help?
Sure. We had, years ago, we had an individual that was living on his own independently, and he's still with our program today. He unfortunately, there was a break-in in his apartment, and people broke in and they took his stuff and they really frightened him. Then his family and himself asked to move into a residential home from independent living to feel safer because there's lots of trauma associated with that. And each day I would see him around. We were providing like 24-hour service for him, but he was out all the time, and he was doing things. He was working and coming back home to the house that he was living in, and then he would go out. And so one day I said to him, "Would you like to try to live on your own again?" I said, "You're working, you live on your own. I mean, you could live on your own. You lived on your own before. What would you like to try that?" So he says, "Well, let me bring my family and let's have this conversation." Of course, the family's like, "Oh my goodness, no, I don't think we should do this. I had a terrible experience, and I don't think he's ready." And I said, "Well, let's ask him. He's home. He's not home. He's working. He's got a girlfriend. He's doing things. He's out in the community." I said, "Why don't we give him the opportunity?" And we took the opportunity and found him a great place to live. We supported him by providing our outreach support services for him, helped him with the grocery shopping, helped him with his budget, helped him with his laundry, et cetera, et cetera. And still today, he's on his own. And I think because we took the opportunity to see that he had the ability to do it, and we don't want to necessarily not allow people to have those experiences despite the trauma that they experienced. And I just met with their family recently this week, and they were like, "We're so happy we made this decision for him. His life has grown and blossomed so much, and it's really made a difference for him." And it's one of our success stories where we see somebody who was fearful to challenge himself because of the trauma, but ultimately is now living on his own and thriving, which is a beautiful thing. And I think that it's a good example of working alongside somebody, keeping them safe, supporting them, and them believing in the process and just caring about his own success.
Absolutely. I mean, independence is absolutely critical to people with disabilities because there are so many people out there who say that we can't.
Yeah, and that's a misdemeanor. I think that it's unfortunate that people have that opinion. And, we have lots of people here in our program who experienced that years ago. The pains of living with a disability years ago and how people were treated. And we have people who have come to our program from the Manitoba Developmental Center who lived in the center for 40, 50 years and are now living in our community and loving it. They love being in the community. They love being able to go outside and walk down the street, go shopping, meet with family. And honestly, family was they were leery. They were frightened about their loved ones moving out to the community because they're so used to living within those walls. But to see them thrive now and to live in the community and be able to, engage in whatever they want to do, you've really seen a difference in those individuals for sure.
Absolutely. Now, this question is both interesting and challenging, I've always thought. What is the one thing that you see happening over and over again with people with disabilities that should not be? And how do you think we put a stop to it?
That's a good question. I think people with disabilities are unfairly judged based on old norms and people not seeing people with disabilities for who they are. There's so much that we get from knowing people and learning alongside them that I think that people with disabilities, unfortunately, are defined by their disability when people see them, not as the individual. Yesterday, example, meeting with this young man yesterday, if you saw him in his wheelchair and didn't speak to him, you'd automatically think that you wouldn't be able to have a wonderful conversation with him and talk about his life and what he wants to achieve and what he wants to do. If you look at him just through the looking glass, you would say, I'm sure that, he has a hard life and things are terrible for him, but he has an amazing life and he wants to do so many things. He told me yesterday he wants to be a sportscaster. He loves baseball. He loves every sport. And there's no reason why he can't be. And I think people with disabilities, unfortunately, are misjudged that way. Part of our role is to make sure that people are treated fairly with dignity and given the opportunity to expand their horizons as much as we'd want anybody else in this world. Absolutely.
If you want to get to know someone, communicate, 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 because otherwise it's just not going to happen. So I love that. I love that actually because I mean it's the same philosophy as applies to anyone you don't understand. Talk to them.
Exactly. My family's very much involved in the world of disabilities, and I think that having that as part of their life creates an appreciation for people much deeper than you would ever learn from reading from a book or from watching TV. To walking alongside somebody, you learn so much about life and so much about yourself.
Absolutely. Are there any events coming up for Simaril?
Yes, we do. It's funny, we have our annual general meeting in September and it's very well received by our people supported in our community. And we'll have 150 people at our AGM. It becomes a big event. And the beautiful thing about our AGM, it's not so much about the actual practical piece of the AGM as, we're required to report, but it's about our people supported having a platform to come up and speak to each other and families to get together and talk. And every one of our AGMs, you have people attend from our supported group, and their families come along, and they'll get up and they'll grab the microphone and they'll talk about the things they're doing and where they're going and what they're excited about. Our families will get up and speak. So it's a really a wonderful event, but really not by definition AGM per se. There's also an awards night there as well for people. Then we have our Christmas party coming up in December, and that is a huge event for us. And we'll have well over 200 people on our Christmas event. Everybody's invited. Of course, they have to indicate that they're coming, and so we have a full event of afternoon and early evenings of dinner and music and just a great event.
Awesome. Almost can't think of Christmas yet because we're only just getting into fall. If someone wanted to become a member or volunteer with Simaril, what are the processes to do
Well,
those?
they just have to go to our website, and you will see that there's an email there under info, and they can send an email to our info@simaril.ca, and we'll receive it and follow up with them.
So, special question. What is the one thing that people needs to know about Simaril?
The one thing about coming here, is I believe that people are treated with respect and dignity, and that we care about them 100%. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can overcomplicate things by by today's standards in many ways, but I don't believe that we don't have any challenges around caring about people, which makes that equally available to everybody.
I love that. That's just, it's very simple. It's easy to get along with that. All inclusive. That's excellent. I mean, we need that kind of open mindedness.
I think so. I think in this world right now, with so many challenges across the world, with everything going on in terms of the political environment, etc., that I believe that some of our people get lost in the shuffle, and we don't want that. And our organization honestly just wants to make a difference. So I think we run an organization with great people. We when we need help, we look for sound advice. We don't have all the answers, and I think the proof's in the pudding. And if we have the opportunity to learn about somebody, we want to, and we give people those opportunities, and we learn and they learn. So it's a win-win.
Absolutely. Now, if someone is looking for more information about Simaril, how do they find you?
Well, they can find us on our website, which, like I said, they can call us. There's a phone number there to call. There's our website. You can find us on different social media platforms. There's Facebook, there's Instagram. I don't think we have a TikTok yet, but I think they're working on it. And so, yeah, we're easy to find. And we've really been working on that in the last little while to have better exposure and be able to show people what we're able to do and what we offer to people.
Absolutely. You deserve to get your name out there.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Jeff.
You're welcome. I appreciate it very much.
Do you have any questions for us?
I don't. I'm really thankful and grateful that you took the time for me today and give us an opportunity to talk about what we love. And hopefully our message goes out and makes a difference for other people as well.
I'm sure it will.
Hope so.
You've been listening to a Community Partners interview. I'm your host, Lily Saragini. And remember, folks, stick together because we are all in this together.